afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I bring you greetings from the Nigeria Initiative. Please permit me to dispense with the usual long protocols that associate events like this. That was also Pius's habit. So to this end, I submit to all my lords, spiritual and temporal and traditional. Let's not forget we're Africans. I consider it an honor to be invited here to speak on this platform. And for that, I thank the different newspapers and my friend Richard Mama. My name is Vincent Chiedu. If there's anything you can remember or choose to identify me with, that I am passionately, unapologetically, and unabashedly Nigerian. Today we honor a man who was driven by a passion, not just for his nation, but for the continent. Pius Adesanmi, throughout the course of his life, deposited seeds in the Nigerian consciousness and conscience. His seeds were akin to the injection of a vitamin boost of energy to all who heard him speak or those who met him. Yet, like all seeds, if the seed lands on good ground, it sprouts and brings forth the harvest. If the ground it lands on is hostile to the seed, it sprouts, it dies with all its potential. Pius's writings and lectures challenge our arrogant presumptions and glib assumptions about the inherent equality or inequality of the races. His thoughts on paper and in public speaking always provoke more questions that beg for further inquiry. Pius Adesanmi was an Afrocentric. To me, this was the professor's best attribute. His appeal was homegrown. He wasn't trying to be westernized. He maintained his authenticity and was intimately connected to his roots, raised in part by his traditional Yoruba grandmothers, who were very intellectual in their own right. But his Western intellectualism was honed by his parents, who were both educationists. To illustrate this point, as I was reading about him on the internet, I saw a book of his on Amazon.com, and the remark there was that he thinks in Yoruba and in Pidgin English, but writes in English and French, while being a connoisseur of the local traditional palm wine, but also French wine. When I talk of Afrocentrism, I'm talking about a call from the wild. It's a longing for your true ancestry. It is a hunger for your being, or what psychologists call your id, your identity. It is centeredness and peace in who you really are. It doesn't deny that others have their own rights, their own truths. Those who consider themselves Eurocentrics are similarly justified to seek out their core identity. Just like the Chinese, the Japanese, the Arabs and the Jews must also do the same. We cannot talk about the African continent outside of its performance from a human development standpoint, vis-a-vis its performance compared to the other continents. Now, to speak with any real gravitas about continents, you have to drill down to the races and the ethnicities that are native to those continents. Of course, in our pristine state, it has been scientifically and genetically established that all the races are all equal in all and every respect. The great Senegalese intellectual, anthropologist and historian, Sheikh Anta Diop, has spoken extensively on the subject of the normal equality of the races. He was trained and educated in some of the finest institutes in Paris, and he debunked the notion of any suboptimality in capacity between the races wherever they will be found. However, an interrogation into the level of development across the nations and continents of the world would seem to indicate that the races within the continents have not fared equally in their social, economic, and political development. This brings us to the nature of and the desirability for sophistication required to jumpstart or facilitate a seminal trajectory in development that will benefit the greater proportion of those that inhabit any community, in this case, the African continent. Interestingly, I discovered many years ago that one of the iterations derived from the etymology of the word sophisticate is to take something in its raw natural form and change it. That means that in a bid to sophisticate, you can either improve it or you can pollute it. Merriam-Webster's dictionary actually includes the interpretative meaning that to sophisticate means to adulterate. The word sophisticate applies in both instances of either improving or adulterating. How have we been sophisticating our people in Africa? Reading his writings, as I did occasionally, one discovered that Professor Pius Adesanmi kept comparing his newfound home in Canada to the seemingly decrepit condition of the motherland. Apart from the witty sarcasm and satirical nature that people identified in his work, I sensed there was defiance and irritation everywhere in his work. Irritation at those who were charged with the responsibility to steer the ship of Africa forward. To be sure, there are a lot of positively massive things happening on the continent. But the sad truth is that when you want to be optimistic and hopeful, there always seems to be just that one occurrence that hits you out of the blue. Something, somewhere, somehow, just gives rise to an event on the continent that shocks you to your bone marrow. My earnest belief is that these things happen because, unlike our counterparts in other parts of the globe, we have not sophisticated ourselves properly. We have adopted a mishmash of short-term, self-serving values that do not benefit the collective. This is quite painful. But while we may bemoan our current plight, I do not want us to be too harsh on ourselves. The general milieu across the continent was thrust upon us because of the forceful introduction of the social order that was alien to us. This social order is actually the way that modern societies must go to be relevant in the global scheme of things. But in practice, we have to admit that this social order is still alien to our native values in many respects. Native social systems always work very well in traditional African societies. They were, by and large, integrative, and no one was really left behind. There were rules for hygiene, agriculture, conflict resolution, religious instruction, literary and oral traditions, and even rules that govern feudal ascension. Of course, the primal and superstitious origins of these systems meant that abuse was inevitable. The age of enlightenment and scientific inquiry that swept through most of Europe in the 18th and 19th centuries did not reach and even could not penetrate much of Black Africa. Folks were too set in their ways to accept new things. After all, why change a supposedly winning formula? But to the supposedly more enlightened Europe, Africa was populated by savages and barbarians. Understand that the word barbarian is not an African word. Who were the barbarians? The word barbarian was coined by the ancient Greeks to describe anyone who did not speak Greek. Because to them, all languages sounded like gibberish. In a queer twist of fate, today when we want to say you are speaking gibberish, we say you are speaking Greek. Barbarian also meant anyone who was not a citizen of Greece. The Romans adopted the same principle and took it that anyone who did not speak Latin or was not a citizen of the Roman Empire was a barbarian. Alas, it was Germanic barbarians known as the Goths that sacked Rome. In Europe at the time, there were 5 classes of barbarians: the Huns, the Franks, the Vandals, the Saxons, and the Visigoths. These are your original barbarians. So no one really is a barbarian to themselves. It is others who have an arrogant sense of self-importance that regard their fellow humans as barbarians. In other words, if you operate outside a well-defined set of social codes of conduct, those who do will regard you as a barbarian. So that brings us to the issue of the Code of Conduct Manual. I remember on a trip to France a few years ago, I got on a tour bus, and I do this as a rule. There's no country, no city I go in the world that I will not look for a tour bus to get on. Because even if you know somebody who lives there, they can't give you the history of the place that you go. So I get on a tour bus, sit back, put the headphones on my ear, or listen to the tour guide, and I hear the history of the whole country in about 1 hour. So I got on this tour bus in France, and when we got to the French Parliament, the lady in the tour bus announced that in 1789, as an outcome of the French Revolution, Parliament passed the Declaration of the Rights of Man and the Citizen. I couldn't sit down at the bus anymore. I had to get up. Here was a secret code being revealed to me in a foreign country. This Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen was established in consultation with Thomas Jefferson, who himself was the prime author of the United States Declaration of Independence in 1776. This in itself was a secret code that distinguished the average American from anyone else who did not operate under such a code. Everyone outside this new code was automatically now a barbarian of sorts. In the Declaration of Independence were clearly stated 27 colonial grievances. So if the US was once a colony, why do we in Africa still use colonization as an excuse till this day? It gets even worse or better depending on what side of the fence you're on. The British were operating under a secret code dating back to 1215 known as the Magna Carta. They also had another secret code known as the English Bill of Rights, established in 1689. These guys have been doing these things like forever. Outside of a similar type of code, you are a barbarian. It's time for us to wake up, Africa. In 1789, even though they had the Declaration of Independence in the United States, they also passed the United States Bill of Rights. Just like the British had their own English Bill of Rights. Now they could have adopted the British one, but you don't borrow someone else's clothes and feel truly independent. To be truly free, you have to design and create your own. And when you create it, you distribute this code widely so that everyone in the society is abreast of its contents. Why I was really so moved when I heard that thing on the top was that I recognized that Declaration of the Rights of Man and of Citizen is being taught right to the littlest child in school. The police understand that the citizens have rights. Doctors understand that citizens have rights. Politicians understand that citizens have rights. I studied mechanical engineering in the University of Benin. And then I remember thinking, when I used to look at guys in the social sciences, that these guys are really of no value. I felt we that were the engineers were the most important people, in university. But having graduated, I came to realize that those are the guys that actually build society. We that do the brick and mortar stuff, that's not how nations are built. It's the softer sciences, the social sciences that build society, build the bedrock and the framework that makes life equitable for all of us. So we have to design and create our own codes. Now, obviously, effective assimilation of these codes is only possible with an educated and literate populace. All meaningful codes must speak of liberation. In case you didn't know, the Magna Carta is actually a short form of the word, of the name. It's the Magna Carta Libertatum. What that means in Latin is the great chapter of the liberties. Man is a free agent. So to make progress, he must know that he is free. Now, where are our African codes of conduct? Our African codes of conduct. The truth is that independence, many of our freedom fighters actually experimented with codes. Nkrumah spoke of consensusism. Julius Nyerere spoke of Ujana. Kenneth Kaunda proposed Zambian humanism. And Leopold Senghor of Senegal spoke of negritude. These have all faded away. You want to know why? What you don't promote dies. Now let me ask us, how importantly do our leaders today regard our intellectuals, our philosophers?